questions.
If you could change one person's life, who would you pick and why? If you could eat one dish for the rest of your life, what would it be? People who lost the connection to their inner child, what would you tell them how to connect with it again?
Hi and welcome to Insanity. This is Stacy. She's super interested in psychology, in philosophy, and we always have super interesting chat on our Discord channel, actually. So whoever is interested in philosophical talks is really invited to join us on Discord.
Join us. It's very interesting and very diverse.
We love it. We are still a small community, but we are growing. Would be amazing to have you there. And today we are playing a new episode of Truth or Dare, which means we are only allowed to say the truth. And whenever we don't want to tell the truth for whatever reason, we have to say truth sucks, because this is when our co-host Jacques has his big entrance and then Jacques appears. And actually, this is a very, very special moment for Jacques, because Stacy was around when Jacques was born.
True indeed.
So we are playing Truth or Dare. We are only allowed to say the truth. The questions are completely diverse. We are going from philosophy to personal questions, whatever we want. And we also have few community questions probably, but I think ours are the most important ones. And I already said this episode will be very painful for me, especially because Stacy knows me so well. But I'm kind of afraid of the questions, but that's the challenge.
I would suggest you start first with the first questions, because my questions are kind of deep from the start.
My first question for you is, what makes you happy?
The first thing that comes to my mind, I would say my cat. In general, nature also makes me extremely happy and calm. I love to go out in the nature and to humble yourself and to feel a part of this world. But you?
Quite similar. It's nature, especially the ocean. It's the ocean is super calming for me. It makes me very happy. If we are talking about outside moments, right? So when you see something that has an effect on you, so I would say, yeah, it's definitely my cat. It's the ocean. It can be a walk, can be the smell of the forest, and it's also currently just meditation. So I just produce happiness by myself by reproducing the feeling of happiness. But since I know things outside of myself, like the ocean, for example, so I know the feeling of happiness because it was created within me by experiencing certain things. So I know what this feeling feels like, and I can recreate it within myself. So I don't need the things anymore, although they are super nice. But it also makes me happy to just meditate.
Aren't we confusing right now happiness with calmness? Because to me, it sounds like happiness equals calm. And if that's the case, then being by myself would also be considered what makes me happy.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say so, because you can actually recreate every feeling. It can be calmness, it can be happiness, it can be excitement. I can also get excited through meditation. I can also get calm. So whatever it is, what I want to feel, sometimes I want to feel love, for example. I simply want to feel love. And when I go within, I can recreate that feeling.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really awesome, because I'm not sure if I could do that. But if people are able to do that, like you, I think that's a huge accomplishment, that you can give love to yourself without like an outside source.
Yeah, I think everyone can do that. I think it's just a matter of practice, because whenever you are already familiar with the feeling, no matter which one it is. So when you are already familiar with that, then you can create it within yourself by thinking about something. For example, by thinking about the things that make you happy. So you remember the feeling, and then you can hold this feeling. So just like playing with your own emotions without having any
emotions.
Without having any real picture in front of you.
Can I add to this topics, because
Sure.
Literally the first question that I wrote down pretty much goes into this one a little bit. So when you had to move tomorrow, where would you choose to be your next home aside of Germany? So we're talking about
Wow.
countries. And what would be something that you could not leave behind, a person or a thing?
So in any case, if I would leave this place, I wouldn't stay in Germany. Germany is not even an option.
I'm curious, would you pick something that's already like familiar to you? That means like a place you have already been to? Or would you pick something completely adventurous and completely new?
Can be both. So I think it would depend on where do I find an apartment. And yeah, really, because
Very pragmatic.
yes, I am very pragmatic. So I could totally imagine myself picking something in Mallorca. So just in Spain, little island, or Ibiza or something. In general, I could totally imagine to move to an island. But for example, I have been to Mallorca already a lot of times. So this is nothing new for me, but I would do that because I love it. I love Spain. I love this island. I could also imagine to go somewhere new. Yeah. I wouldn't have any problems with that. So if you have a guest room, I would probably just
Always, all the time. What would be your choice? Like, if you had to leave tomorrow, like literally tomorrow, where would you go?
And I could do anything, right? Like
anything.
Okay, there are two things that would be an option. So I would go to Mallorca, which I already know. And the other option, I know
it. I know which the other option is.
Could you write it down on a paper? So we see if we mean the same thing. I think we never talked about that.
Just say it. I will turn my phone.
All right. Canada.
Was my second guess. That was my guess.
Okay. No, not Netherlands.
You love the atmosphere, you love the people, you love the ocean, and they have an ocean.
Yes. So. The thing is that I wanted to live there a lot, and since a long time already. And then I almost lived there because I had a boyfriend there. So I experienced already how it would be to be there the whole time. So I had this experience already, kind of. So, okay, I didn't rent anything myself, but it doesn't matter. So I was almost living there. And I had this experience already. And it's okay. So I'm good with it because it's like, check, okay, done. And I don't need it again, not necessarily, and not right now. So I would pick Mallorca because it's also warm, and I really like that it's warm, and I need that, the sun and everything. And or Canada, because I haven't been there. It would be total adventure, and I'm super in love with the pictures. So I just like this forests and this lakes and everything. It looks so magic. And that I would do that without even going there before, probably. So if I would have the chance to keep working where I work right now, I would do it, I guess.
Perfect. Sounds very cute. And yeah, sounds like you.
Yeah. What is your answer?
I would, if I had to move, I would probably pick something adventurous, first of all.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the type of person that would go somewhere what is already familiar or where I've been already a couple times. So yeah, I would definitely always choose to go outside of my comfort zone, and probably in the most extreme way, because I'm already here, and that is very different to where I come from. I'm conflicted between Asia and South America right now.
Yeah.
But I think I tend more towards Asia, and I think I would go to Singapore.
What's your dream lifestyle?
What do you consider in the first place, like, as a lifestyle? Like, is it like the way you present yourself, or
the way you live? It is, well, probably you already live your dream lifestyle, I thought, because you are living in different cities and you move every couple of years. So this was very related to the last question about where would you move, because you like to explore new cities, you like to explore like new countries, everything, and you have the possibility to do that. So you are moving anyway every 2 years or something like that. So
maybe I agree. Maybe I do live already my desired lifestyle, even though I've never thought about it that way. But maybe I do, yeah. Because I do not feel limited right now in any kind of way. So there is not really much that I would change or would want to change. So maybe that is it. If you could change one person's life, who would you pick and why? Would it be someone you know, like someone a family member or a friend, or would it be a stranger?
If I'm really honest with myself, then which is the task or the challenge in truth or dare, then I would say I don't change anything for anyone, because I think that everyone is powerful enough to change themselves if they decide to do that, and I don't have the right to do it. So everyone has their own speed in life and their own perspective and their own world, and I believe that it is this person's right to experience negative things. And on a subconscious level, somewhere deep down, this is the experience what this person wants or even needs. So I don't feel that I have the right to change that just because I believe my perspective is better. I believe that when I say that I want to change this person's life, I am disempowering them. So I don't really believe that they have the power within themselves to choose better. I need to get rid of my own story in which I believe that I know what's best, because I certainly don't. So that's why my answer would be nobody.
Nobody. Okay,
Yes.
that's valid. Yeah.
What's yours?
I would have multiple options. I already
that one.
No, I have already like a hit list.
Really? Okay,
No,
okay.
but I think the thing is because the question is if you could change one person's life, who would you pick? And the thing is, to change someone's life doesn't mean that you're like literally changing their life. You just have the option to give them a different perspective, so that they eventually change their life themselves, because we are influenced by our experience. And if you can change the experience for this person, then you can maybe influence, like this experience will influence the person to change themselves, but you gave them kind of like this opportunity to eventually change. But because maybe it can also happen that nothing changes, like you give them an opportunity but they still come to the same result. So in the end, even though you tried to change someone's life, it didn't work out, because in the end, whatever path they took, they came to the same result in life. Like they came to a similar point in life. And the people who I would pick, I think the first person on my list is the Pope.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I would pick the Pope. Like he is on my first. Like I would try to change his life and then see what the outcome will be. The second person whose life I would change is a billionaire. I would pick a random billionaire and change their life and see what happens. And the third person would be probably a warlord, like someone who does like, I wouldn't really say like bad things, because everybody has reasons why they're doing what they're doing. But like if it's perceived cognitively by a lot of people as like bad, I would pick this kind of a person and see how they would change, if they would still be this person who they were before, if they had a different chance, you know.
So you mean by putting them into a completely different environment? So you pick the billionaire, for example, and you put them into a ghetto or something, and he needs to survive there without all the money. Or you put the Pope,
something like that, into a Muslim country, probably to learn a new religion, or to make him interact with like Buddhists and live a year in the Himalaya or something like that. Like stuff like that, you know, like put those people in like completely something out of their comfort zone, and see what impact it would have on their life, because this is something life-changing. Because from yourself, you probably wouldn't do that. But if something like that would happen to you, of course, everybody is designed to survive no matter the circumstance. So you would make it work. And a majority of the circumstances are anyways not bad enough that you have like to fight for your life. It would be just like something very different that you had have to adjust. And either the one outcome would be that you become even stronger in your beliefs that you had before, or it would open up a different world where you would say, I've never thought about that, but that's how it is.
If we do it like that, because before I thought, doesn't every person has the chance to change at any time by your example? So, or by anyone's example, because they are experiencing their own life and bubble, and they also may know that other life circumstances exist. So the Pope may know that he can go to the Himalaya and experience something else, and the billionaire will know that he can experience a different life there, but he chooses not to do that. So they chose their perspective, they chose their belief already, and they could choose differently. And if you could choose for them, then yeah, that's a cool idea. If you could keep only one of your senses, which one would it be?
If I could keep only one thing, I think I would stay with sight. Because simply out of the reason that I'm already extremely used to seeing, so I could not imagine to not see anymore. Like I think it would be very depressing if you had something that's so overwhelming and powerful, and then suddenly the only thing you do is only like hear or feel or smell or taste. I don't know. I think it would impact me personally a lot if I couldn't see. So I would probably stay with sight, even though I couldn't hear anymore, or touch, even though I like touch a lot. I don't know. It's a hard question, but I would say sight. Because I think it has the biggest impact on life, because that's literally how I move in this space. How I interact with everything is mainly based on sight. Because if you would ask the same question a blind person, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't say sight, because they've never especially if someone is like born without being able to see. I don't think that this sense holds much weight for them, but if literally your entire life is based on this, it's hard to give it up. What would it be for you? What did you answer?
I think I'm changing my opinion, because my first reaction was also sight, and now I'm not sure, because I think when you see all these things around you, and when you hear everything, but you don't experience the sensation on your skin. That's so weird. Just imagine the air, the wind on your skin. You don't feel that anymore when you are outside. You don't feel hugs. You don't feel anything. You cannot touch other people. Like, you cannot touch anything. So I thought this would make me feel like a ghost, that I just know what they look like, but I cannot touch them. So I would be literally a ghost then. So I have no physical interaction or feeling for these objects. So I think this would be terrible. I don't know if I would pick that one instead, because what would also be terrible for me if I wouldn't hear anything. Because I've realized one thing, that sight is important because it gives me certainty. So I know where I am in a room. I know where the other person is. So I kind of know where I end, or where another object ends, or whatever. So I know where I start, where I end, and where is the border between me and something else. And it gives me certainty in moving in a room and knowing where someone or something is. But this is all. It's like, this is the sense that gives me the most control, or idea of control. And currently, I'm experiencing what it feels like to let go of the idea of control. And what touches my heart the most is what I hear. So when I hear music, or when we talk to each other, or when I hear the voice of someone, I remember voices better even than faces. So I mean, okay, that's my case. Like, you can introduce yourself like 20 times to me and I will still ask, who's that?
Don't tell me that.
Yeah. Sense of touch also means that you you actually always experience this sensation. Like if you didn't have the sense of touch, you wouldn't feel anything. Like if you close your eyes, you probably don't really see things. If you hold your breath, you don't smell, and so on. So yeah, if it's completely silent, what almost doesn't happen, but it could, in theory it could, then you wouldn't hear anything. But your skin is always feeling something, because you always you are always in touch with the surface. So whenever you cannot not stand on the ground, for example, so you are always touching something. We don't even know what it would feel like to lose our sense of touch.
Yeah, that is true. I'm
That's
pretty
super
sure that a
creepy.
lot of balancing stuff would
Oh,
get
true.
lost with that as well, because if you don't feel
Yeah.
which part is touching something, like you wouldn't be out of balance because you have no reference point anymore. Okay, should we do one fun question in between?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's not really a fun question, but it's just like a funny one for me. If you could eat one dish for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I think I know it.
What is it?
Oh, mashed potatoes. But if it's a dish, then I would say mashed potatoes with mushrooms and caviar.
Yeah, sounds very interesting, but okay. Because mine, I think, would be pizza.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because pizza is very diverse and it has kind of like bread. It's like bread with vegetables or meat or
Yeah,
fish, whatever you want to put on it.
yeah,
So I think if I have to eat something forever, I would pick something that's more like divergent, like that you can change it up a little bit, even though it still stays the same. For example, my husband picked sushi because sushi you can also change, you know, even though it's still sushi, but you can put like different things
yeah,
inside.
yeah,
So, which I also agree. I think it's a good choice, but
yeah,
I would stuck with pizza because I just love bread. And I
yeah.
need something with bread.
Do you think your life would change for the better if mirrors wouldn't exist?
Probably, yeah.
And
I
why?
Because I honestly don't think that it's beneficial for us to see ourselves, because no other animal in the animal kingdom has this ability to see themselves, aside probably in water that's like still standing, which doesn't happen often. Aside of that, there is no natural way for us to see ourselves, and I think it has a reason why that is.
Mm.
Because otherwise everywhere in the jungle would hang some kind of mirrors.
Mm.
No, and I think, like I said, it has a reason why we weren't given that ability. We become addicted with our own image, and I think sometimes a lot of not good things are triggered by the fact that we can see ourselves. So yeah, I do believe that the world would probably be a little better if we could not see us.
A random thought that I had
Yeah.
yesterday. And um,
Do you disagree?
no, I don't know, actually. That's why I'm asking. It increases our understanding of who we are as a person, not who we truly are, not what we really are, but it increases our understanding of our personality, of what separates us from another person, of our ego, so to speak, like what we represent in this world. On the other hand, probably with that, we are literally more self-reflecting, or it is a possibility to do that more because we are engaging with ourselves, because we are looking at ourselves. We are probably starting asking questions like, what do I see in this mirror? Who is that? Is it really me? Da, da, da. So maybe thoughts like that also pop up. So maybe again, it's a window to separate yourself and to get caught up in your self-concept and the idea that you have about yourself. Maybe on the other hand, it also increases the ability to question.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's not wrong, but I just think everything in too much is not good.
Do you think that you would have more peace if there
Probably.
were no mirrors in this world?
Probably, yeah. Probably. I would, yeah.
Yeah, right. I think the same. I just also think that life would be a bit more boring because I love fashion. I love dressing up. And I'm just asking myself, would I still love it? Of course, if there were no mirrors. So probably I would just have a doll and I would dress this doll the whole time. Could also be because when I was a child, I loved doing that without looking at myself. Your turn.
My turn. These are 3 last questions. And I think I will read them all together because it's the same topic.
All right.
So the first question is, are you connected to your inner child? The second question is, have you always been connected to your inner child? And the follow-up question is, people who lost the connection to their inner child, what would you tell them how to connect with it again?
When you look at my whole lifestyle, or then we are back to the first one of the first questions about the lifestyle. My dream life is being careless, is to play, and I'm playing the whole time. My job life is playing. So this is how I see my job. It's like I'm waking up and I'm solving tasks, or I'm solving some challenges that are fun. So I'm always doing things that are fun and that make me happy. So yeah, of course, I don't need them to be happy. We talked about that, but I do things that bring me joy, and I'm not willing to do things that don't bring me joy. And I am careless. I do play. I am in nature a lot. So I do things that are just wild, and I need that a lot. And I have been criticized for that a lot. So actually, even my mother or family members, they used to say, you have a certain age right now, you have to be more serious. I have a super stupid humor. I ask questions that probably little kids ask, but I also ask them and I want to know. And the adult people, they still criticize me, saying you need to be more mature and do certain things because society, whoever expects that from you, and you need to build your life. And they could talk Chinese with me, I wouldn't understand, because for me, my dream life is playing. I love playing, whatever it is. And for me, I play life. I play Anna. Anna is my Barbie or whatever, and I'm playing her the whole time, doing things that I like and that I enjoy. And I'm silly. I'm playing with my sock, and
so I can sum it up. So to the question, are you connected to your inner child? Obviously, the answer is yes, because you literally just described it.
Yeah.
Have you always been connected? I think from your answer, that means no. I think as a child, you have not been connected to your inner child, but you found it somehow in adulthood and reconnected to your inner child. So then we come to the third question. What would you recommend to people how to find their inner child? How did you find your inner child? How did you get back to being a child without being a child?
Yeah, I think just by being yourself, although the only thing you can do is being yourself, but expressing what you feel, expressing it through action, not necessarily through words and telling everyone what you feel, but express who you are through your actions. This is what I would say. Like the summary is be yourself as much as you can and express who you are as much as you can, because I think this is what will automatically be the result, that you connect to the inner child. Because I think if we are all honest, we will never say what I really feel deep down within myself is I want to feel like I need to be the way other people want me to be. I need to adult, and I need to pay bills, and I need to blah, blah, blah. I need to be serious. So I think nobody wants that shit. So people want to feel joy, and they want to be free in self-expression. And this is exactly what a kid does. A kid expresses itself without being afraid of judgment, right? And I think that everyone has this deep wish to be that and to feel like this. So I would say, be yourself. This is all. This is your connection to your inner child, because this is who you are. So just don't try to be to be an expectation. Don't try to live an expectation.
But what is if that's everything you know? For example, I have family members who grew up and had to be adults from a very, very young age, like the age of 10. They had to do already everything that adults do except work, but school, and then go and do housework, educate their own siblings. So they're taking on a role of an adult as a child, and they grow up with that until they become 30 and then have their own family, and then the cycle repeats. So where there can they find the child that they never experienced, like they had never the moment to experience that child. So, and they believe that the way they are, that's how they are. So to them, to connect to the inner child is pretty much connecting to a stranger, because they don't know who they are, who they truly are, because they've been bombarded with expectations from literally the moment they have been like start to think. So how do you find this inner child? How do you find your true self when literally your entire life was dictated by circumstances that you could not control? And I think if you, because us, we're speaking from a area of privilege, I would say, because we had the time to discover. Because I would say I was pretty much my entire life connected to my inner child, and I'm honestly really, really afraid to be disconnected.
Actually, I believe we are never disconnected. There are just many layers above it. I believe we are always connected. The question is, how often do we realize this? And if you want to remember your connection to who you truly are, there is actually only one thing that you need to do, and this is to follow the things that feel good. It's so easy. So you need to follow your joy, because every person has something. For some people, it will be a hobby. Probably it's playing an instrument. For some people, it will be listening to music. It will be watching a movie. It doesn't matter. It can be the very basic thing. For me, it's doing a podcast, which sounds a bit bigger because there are more processes connected to it, but it doesn't matter at all. It can be super simple. And if you know what ignites this little spark in you when you feel this joy, this is your key, or this is actually the whole door already, this feeling. And this feeling, you need to feel it more often. So you need to pay attention to situations when you experience this feeling, when you feel this joy, when you feel excitement. It can be also another person. So you are very excited meeting someone. You are very excited after having a talk with someone. So this is like a high, and you feel like, oh my God, this person was so great. So this means this person reminds you subconsciously of your inner child or of your true self. And there are moments in every person's life that are exciting, that are joyful. And when you have this feeling, then you just need to repeat it. You just need to search for more things that do it, and you need to follow it. It's like your compass. It's like your map. And you just follow these things that feel good. And then after doing that for a while, it's like a muscle. You practice, you figure out more things that bring you joy. And probably they even change, and you go for the bigger joy. And I don't mean like a drug addict for the next big, experience of pleasure. I mean, real joy. This is a feeling that we all have, and it's difficult to describe with words, but it's excitement. I think excitement, joy is the very best description for that. And you have to follow that. And this will connect you with yourself. And yes, society will tell you not to do that and to follow your responsibilities instead, which probably are crap. But if you want to connect, then you need to follow your joy, because this is how you will find who you are. This is how you will figure out your talents. This is how you will figure out your true self, what you want to do, probably the next steps of your life. Everything else will unfold from that.
Very wise words. And I totally agree. Yeah. What we feel sometimes inside is very important, and we should never stop listening to it, because those feelings, or those subtle uncomfortable or extreme joys in the belly or somewhere in your body is you yourself trying to communicate with you.
Yes,
And,
yes, yeah.
and this feeling or those sensations, they're never meant to harm you. They're always there to protect you, to make something better or easier for you. And to not listen to them will not make your life better in the long run, I think. But it was a very fun interview. Thank you so much for your time. Maybe you can ask your community if they have specific questions for me that they would like to ask, or I don't know, think of whatever. Please try to come up with some funny questions because I'm literally waiting for those.
Oh, good you said this. Please send us funny questions.
Yes.
Great. Yeah, great. Thank you so much. It was amazing. Thanks so much. And yeah, we do that again.
I hope so. I'm counting on it.